Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's school board meeting. It's great to have Pinetta Elementary School here today. The school board meeting is officially called to order at this time. Again, welcome to each of you to the November the 7th, 2022 school board meeting of the Madison County School Board. The school board meeting is an advertised meeting held in the public, not a public meeting. We have an established advertised agenda that will be followed. Anyone wishing to address the board may do so during the public input section of the meeting. You will have 3 minutes to address the board. The sign-in sheet to speak during public input is on the table to the left as you enter the boardroom. Please sign in if you wish to speak. Our school board minutes are being recorded this evening by Ms. Bishop, confidential secretary and secretary to the superintendent. Board members present are Ms. Williamson, Mr. Carroll, Ms. Gibson, Ms. Bell, and myself, Bart Alford. Our attorneys present, Mr. Reeves, and our superintendent, Ms. Joseph. At this time, the meeting is officially called to order. If everyone would please stand for a moment of silence, and then we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone would stand.
Good job.
Okay, at this time we will pledge the flag. Pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. If everyone have a seat, please. Thank you. Okay, it is great to have Pinetta Elementary School here. Raise your hand if you're a kindergartner. Raise your hand if you're a first grader. Raise your hand if you're a second grader. Raise your hand if you're a third grader. Raise your hand if you're a fourth grader. Raise your hand if you're a fifth grader. So we have a wide variety. Sixth grade. Raise your hand. And pre-K. We have pre-Kers here. So we have a wide range of kids. The whole school's here, or a variety, or mixture of the whole school. So we're glad of that. At this time, I would like to introduce Miss Yolanda Haynes. She's the principal of Pinetta. Davis. I'm sorry. Yolanda Davis. She's the principal, and she has many of her teachers here. If she would like to speak at this time.
Good evening to the superintendent, Ms. Joseph, and her staff. Good evening to all board members and everyone in their respective places. Good evening to my faculty and staff, parents, and wonderful students. I bring greetings from the prestige Pinetta Elementary School. We are small in numbers, but we are large at heart. We are a D school, but we are working very hard to improve our school. The teachers are working 2 extra hours a week. We are using Kagan strategies monthly. We are also providing students with small group instruction during wind time. With that being said, our students are trying very hard. Our kindergarten class will start off with saying our school pledge. All of our students recite the school pledge daily. And last but not least, for our school to improve, we must start with the man in the mirror. So after the school pledge, our students will sing our theme song, which is Man in the Mirror. So we're going to start off with our kindergartners. Miss Bobby, take the show.
Although, everybody can stand up. Everybody stand up. You guys get ready for our school pledge. So kindergarten, what do we do? Just like everybody else. Remember, we're going at kindergarten.
Okay, that's fine.
Alright, ready? Today I pledge to do my best in reading, math, and all the rest. I promise to obey the rules in my class and in my school. I'll respect myself and others too, and try my best in all I do. I'm here to learn all I can.
stand back up?
Okay, boys and girls, thank you for coming. Your principal has said that's all for tonight. We appreciate you coming tonight to give us this performance. It was great. And y'all have a great rest of the school week. We appreciate Miss Davis. And could you announce your faculty that's here, if you don't mind?
Yes, I would love to. But before we will have our Veterans Day program on Thursday at 9 o'clock. If you are not busy, you can attend. But our faculty, we got Miss Islinger. That's my assistant. We have pre-K, Miss Laura Davis and Miss Laura Singletary. We have kindergarten, Miss Bobby Pinkert. We have first grade, Miss Katie Roberts. Second grade, not here. Third grade, we have Miss Amanda Willoughby. Fourth grade, Mr. Christmas and Miss Amanda Willoughby. Fifth grade, we have Miss Stacy Lee, as well as sixth grade, Miss Tracy Jones. We have our paras. We have Miss Missy French. We have Miss, I'm sorry, Miss Androska is here. Actually, we got Miss Christy Androska. We have our musician, who's our music teacher, is Mr. Brian Norris. Did I get everybody? Did I get it? Okay, that is the staff of the Prestige Pinetta Elementary School.
Thank you for coming again, Miss Davis. Thank you for all
Thank
the
you
children
for
for coming.
having us.
Thank you. You did a great job.
Yeah. They did well. They knew the words of those songs and everything.
Okay, welcome to the people who are still here. At this time, we will have, wait for Miss Joseph. I think she has stepped out for a moment. We have another presentation. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we have another presentation. Serrano Robinson, an 8th grade student at Madison County Central School Middle School, will make a presentation at this time.
Hi, my name is Good evening, Superintendent and the school board. My name is Soraya Robinson. I am 14 years old. I am in 8th grade and I go to Madison County Central School. You all must be wondering why I'm here this evening, and I am here to tell you about my presentation about build your path, build your path in a walking step. Build your path and walk your steps in every steps. My bad. So my presentation is about helping young kids get shoes, because I remember when I was younger, my mom was not able to buy me good shoes and nice shoes, and because of this, I was getting picked on for it. So I just want to help all the struggling mothers, all the single struggling mothers out there, to help them with everything they could, and to help with their little kids to buy new shoes. And my goal is to have about 50 pairs of shoes before December 15th. That's my goal, and I'm here to ask if any of you can donate to help me with my goal. My goal is to reach $1,200. Thank you for letting me have this time to be up here, and thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to ask her a question? She wants to know.
Soraya, just a quick question if you don't mind. You can come to the podium. Just a quick question. Here, up here.
Bring more the podium up.
Just come to the podium here. Okay. Well, thank you for what you're doing. We just would like to know how would you like for us to get the money to you? How would we go about that?
So I have I have a Cash App, which is $Soraya08.
Okay.
Spelled SERRAYA.
Okay. Would you accept a check?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's
Yes.
probably what I would like to do is a check.
Yes, sir.
Who do we make it out to?
Sir?
Who would we make the check out to, you or to who? Who would you like it made out to?
To the school. I'm pretty sure.
You can, I'm her mother.
Yes, ma'am.
Sylvia Fudge. You can make it out to me, and I'll make sure you get to the right place. My name is Sylvia Fudge, and my account is at West Fargo. She's sincerely doing this from the bottom of her heart. She just came to us and said, Mom, I seen you, struggle over the years, and, I went through some problem with kids being picked on. She said, I just want to help out kids. And I said, baby, whatever you need me to do, whatever you need us to do, my parents to do, we're here to help you. So my name is Sylvia Bud, so you can make a check out, and we'll send it. They go get the kids some shoes.
Will you spell your first name, please, ma'am?
SYLVIA. And fudge like a chocolate.
Okay. Is there any way that we could maybe leave the checks here? Because I don't know, I don't have a check on me right now. The others may, if they were to choose to do that. Maybe if you could write your number here and we could call you.
Just leave them up here. She can come up here.
We can leave them at the county office. That'll be a good. We'll leave the checks here, and you can come here to get them. Okay.
Okay. What if somebody wants to donate some shoes? What if
That'd be
someone?
fine too.
Okay.
That'd be perfect too. No, that'd be fine too.
Okay.
Yes.
You can put like a box up here or something.
I'll accept the shoes. I don't know whether I put them in a box or not, but I'll accept them.
Yes, this is the first time I'm going to start off small and
Even if you have a big box up here, people can drop them off.
But BPK is a good grade.
Okay. Well, Soraya, thank you for all your hard work and what you're doing, and I hope you have a lot of success with it. It's a good project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can call the district office. We have if you have Soraya's number, we have your number.
Yes.
Or call and speak with Ms. Bishop, and she'll give you an update of where we are. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Yes, call that same number school board, the number you call me, it's actually Miss Bishop.
Thank you again.
Thank y'all so much. God bless you.
Thank you. Okay, the next person to speak is Miss Allen. Hey.
Hello, my name is Erica Allen. I was born and raised here in Madison, Florida. I just want to speak a little bit on kind of the elementary curriculum.
Oh, which one?
The curriculum.
Which school?
Pinetta Elementary.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We moved back home from Pensacola, where my daughter attended a private school. And it was a lot of work that she have done. At that school, they did a lot of homework, taking things home. You know, they was able to bring books home and stuff like that. Here at elementary, at Pinetta, they don't have that much homework. So if the kids are failing or they can't comprehend or in anything the kids are having a problem with, how can Pinetta make that better for the kids? I know they have a lot of stuff, they're behind. We just need more homework. If they're not passing or their grades are failing, we need more homework. They don't bring books home. The only solid homework that they do have is spelling words and vocabulary. So I just want to know how can they bring more homework for math or phonics or social studies. So it needs to be a change because there's no homework. So if the parents don't know what they're doing at school or how we can log on to the system that they have online, we don't know anything about that. The first 6 weeks, we learn about this system that they have. You can go online and look at books and all that stuff like that. That needs to be brought up before school starts. So that's the struggle that me and my mom is having with my nephew and my daughter. There's online stuff that we don't know about. So for the ones that haven't been here going through the curriculum, we need to understand more about the curriculum, more homework. And like I said, the only solid homework is spelling words and vocabulary. If they're working on nouns or plural or whatever they're working on, verb, anything, they need homework for that. We don't see much grades coming home. Yes, we see spelling words and other little stuff that they work in class, but they need more homework. I understand they're taking a test for 3rd grade. Like, how are they preparing with this test that they're supposed to be taking? So coming from an A school to a D school, that's very important. So I want her to be able to pass 3rd grade and not to be told that she can't comprehend, she can't read and answer questions, because she can. She comes from an A school. We have after school tutoring, and it's more hands-on. So the kids that's struggling, there's a lot of kids that are struggling. The parents are not here. They're not going to come here because they're scared to speak out. So I'm speaking out for everybody, all the parents. There's a lot of kids that's struggling. So we need a better system so where we can help the kids out. The grades are not coming up. They're actually going lower and lower. So we got to come up with something to make that better for the curriculum. I want more homework. I want them to be able to bring books home. When we was in school, we brought books home. They don't bring any books home. So how can we help them and see what they're learning if they're not bringing the materials home? So that's what I want to really change in the curriculum. That's all.
Okay, thank you for your concerns and comments. Thank you. Okay, the next person, Ms. Gwen Hubbard.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here tonight to acknowledge 2 board members who I've known for a long time before they were elected to this board. I was raised to give people their flowers while they can yet smell them. So in that spirit, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to two long-serving members of this board, Susie Williamson and Bart Alford. And if you would indulge me, I'd like to share a story that happened a long time ago that influenced my regard for this person. If you can imagine 5 to 6 girls who looked like me attending the old Madison High School back in the day. We left the building and headed to the gym for PE in the middle of a North Florida downpour. Upon arriving at the gym, we were devastated to find the door to the gym was locked intentionally. On the other side of that door were 20 to 35 of my classmates who were peering out, laughing and amused that we were locked out and drenched. As we huddled together to shield ourselves from the rain, we knew that we were going to be counted tardy and we wouldn't have time to get dressed out for PE on time, which was counted against our daily PE grade. But more than that was the humiliation and frustration with the situation. Then, to our shock and relief, one person pushed through the laughing girls, opened the door, and without a word to us, turned around, walked through the laughing girls, and returned inside the gym. Some people define integrity as doing the right thing even when nobody's watching. I define integrity as acting as your conscience dictates and having the courage to act on and do the right thing, knowing that everybody's watching. Somebody who's willing to get into good trouble because you're able to put yourself in another person's shoes and empathize with that person's pain. I didn't ask this person for permission to share this story tonight. I don't know if she suffered any backlash back then from that bold move so many years ago, because we never mentioned it until a few years ago once she was on this board. Mary Ann Susie Bishop Williamson, during your tenure on this board, I haven't always agreed with every vote you cast, but I had to respect your choice because I knew that you were voting only after careful consideration of the issue and as your conscience dictated. I think that's the kind of person you are, and I appreciate that, Susie. Thank you for caring with empathy for the students and parents of this county. I appreciate and honor your service. Bart, we don't go back quite that far, but our history is still long, and as you know, it began at the old Lee Elementary School, where you served as the speech pathologist, and I was the staffing specialist for the 3 outlying schools. So we worked together as we held parent meetings for exceptional ed students. Sometimes a meeting was canceled at the last minute, and that gave us an opportunity to talk and really get to know each other. I became impressed with your knowledge of the integral workings of the school system. And Jennifer Williams and I like to think that we encourage you to run for school board. Over the years, we could discuss issues, not always agreeing, but mutually respecting the other's opinion. Over time, I became a caregiver for my mom, moved in to take care of her, which was another district, and Bart became my school board representative. During that time, he truly showed me the kind of human being he is, because he helped me out a lot during my mom's extended illness with his expertise and experience in the healthcare field. He even voluntarily checked on my mom when she was in the nursing home. without my having to ask him, just because that's who Bart is. There have been some tough issues, and we've not always seen eye to eye on them all, but we still felt comfortable enough to talk through our differences while simultaneously maintaining our friendship and mutual respect for each other. I always say to everybody if the discussion comes up that not only is Bart my friend, he is the kind of board member that every board on every level of government needs to have. In addition to his knowledge base in education and experience in the classroom, he has the ability to sort through the minutiae and see the big picture and the details. He is not always the most popular board member because of the discerning questions and the requests he makes from the district staff, who are already stretched too thinly and wearing over 100 different hats. I understand that, I get it. I get why he asks the questions. And now that I'm no longer part of the district staff, I usually applaud his questions and his requests. Bart and Susan, thank you for the many years you've committed to serving our school system with your time, talents, and service. We may not realize it tonight, but we're going to miss both of you. Your combined years of both service and knowledge are difficult to replace. Mrs. Bell, I don't share a history with you that I have with them, but I'd like to acknowledge and thank you for your service to the students and parents of this school system as well. I'd like to say God bless each of you and my sincere compliments for a job well done.
Thank you, Ms. Hubbard. Thank you. The next person, Ms. Hagan, Ms. Vieta Hagan.
Yes. Mine is not as long as Ms. Hubbard. And I haven't had that experience that Ms. Hubbard has had. But I thought it was only fitting. Mrs. Bell, on to new horizons. You have lots of impressive accomplishments behind you and plenty of intriguing possibilities to look forward to. Yellow carnations and the rest of it on that pretty card. I thought it suited you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Miss Susie Williamson, I am proud to call you my friend, even though I got to know you only when I served 14 years with you on the school board. And as you retire, it's important for you to know that you truly made a difference here. So the rest of it is in the card. And there's a little token in there for you to have a eat out.
I'll call you.
Yeah, and if you want to share with me, call me. Mr. Offer, I've known him ever since I worked at the post office. He was in high school. At first, I thought he was going to be a physician. But as one chapter comes to an end, put my little glasses on, as you look back on the valued contributions of your time and talents, may the Lord bless you with satisfaction as you look ahead. May the Lord bless you with new fulfilling joys in your retirement. Congratulations. So mine's short and sweet. Congratulations. And I will be calling on them when I take my seat again.
Thank you, Ms. Hagan. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I need to amend the agenda. Okay, I'm amending the agenda. Item 2.1 under the Memorandum of Understanding with North Florida College will now become 5.11. That's concerning their basketball court usage. 2.2 is the Memorandum of Understanding with Tri-County Electric. This has been put on at the very last. is through the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity Broadband Opportunity Grant application. Tri-County had asked us to participate in writing a letter of support for the broadband grant application. So that will become 5.12 for us to discuss. So 2.1, the memorandum of understanding with North Florida College will become 5.11 under individual consent. 2.2, the memorandum of understanding with Tri-County Electric concerning the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity Broadband Opportunity Grant application will become 5.12 under individual consent. Okay, those are the amendments. Okay, at this time, I will go over the consent items. 4.1 is the minutes from the October 17th regular meeting, school board meeting, the October 24th executive session, and the October 24th special session in the minutes. 4.2 is the Title I Part C grant, Migrant Education. It's for a total of $19,934. 4.3 is the IDEA Part B, K through 12 entitlement and pre-K entitlement grant. The IDEA Part B, pre-K through 12, the current approved budget is for $776,329. The roll forward amount is $95,683 for a total project amount of $872,012. That is for the IDEA Part B, pre-K through 12 grant. The IDEA Part B pre-K entitlement, the current approved budget is $56,023. The roll forward is $5,000. The total project amount is $61,023. 4.4, the Title I Part A, Unified School Improvement Grant, that's the UNICIG grant. The total project amount is $540,621.25. 4.5, the Title I Part D, Neglected and Delinquent Youth Grant is for $37,968. The fundraisers we have, the first one at Madison County High School is the HOSA, the HOSA, is having a candy and Slim Jim sale November and December. The purpose of this is for providing money for the students to buy nursing home gifts for the residents at the nursing home at Christmas. That is the HOSA fundraiser. The track and field fundraiser is they're requesting sponsors, and that will be from November the 7th, 2022 through February the 17th, 2022. The purchase of this is for uniforms, fees for meets, and nourishments for participants. And I will suspect travel since we are unable to host any meets at the high school. The next fundraiser is Madison County High School Girls Basketball is offering a prepaid season pass October the 31st through November the 14th. They're having donation sheets as a means of fundraising November the 31st through December the 20th for team fees, and they're having a Krispy Kreme fundraiser November the 15th through December the 2nd. Madison County High School boys basketball team is having a fundraiser with sponsorship letters November the 15th through December the 31st. And they too are having a donation sheets November the 15th through December the 31st. Greenville Elementary is having a fundraiser. The Greenville Elementary School concession fundraiser is a weekly concession orders. The purpose of this is for the PTO and SAC funds and the PBIS funds. Okay, 4.7 is a homeless and foster transportation agreement with Taylor County. 4.8 is the inter-district private school homeless and foster transportation agreement with Lafayette County. And 4.9 is a homeless and foster transportation agreement with Jefferson County. 4.10 is the Able Trust Grant. This is high school high-tech grant of $11,000, and the payment is broken down from $5,000 from the Able Trust and $6,000 from vocational rehab.
It's actually 22,000. It comes in two
We received 11,000 already, and we'll receive 11,000 later on, so it's a total of 22,000.
So it's a total of 22,000. Okay. Okay, and the next item is the supplemental pay 4.11 for Madison County Central School Assistant Girls Basketball Coach. Is in that we're having the removal of Miss Renee Demps, and we're adding Miss Stacy Burns for the Assistant Girls Basketball Coach. The supplement is valued at $1,166. Okay, that is all the consent items. Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I've got a comment about 4.4, the UNISIG, the Unified School Improvement Grant for $540,621. Now that will be distributed amongst Greenville Elementary, Madison County Central, and Pinetta Elementary. Is that, that's correct?
That's correct. Greenville is getting $45,600. Madison County Central is getting $434,553.75. Pinetta is getting $60,467.50, and this is awarded based on FTE.
Right, and it's for tutors and extra planning and supplies and all that. And then going down to 4.7, which is basically 4.8 and 4.9, that's for the homeless, in other words, for foster children that maybe are relocated to one of these counties, and they will be transported back to Madison County?
If these counties are serving any of our kids,
Yes.
they're our kids, we will be transported to their county, and we will have to foot the bill.
Okay,
That's if another county is serving our students.
if they're serving our students?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Okay, are there any other questions? There's no other questions. Is there a motion to approve the consent items?
I move to approve the consent items.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Williamson. Any discussion? All those in favor, show of hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the consent items. Okay, 5.0 is items for individual consent. 5.1 is the intensive after-school impact study. The ESSER impact study, the anticipated cost for this is $19,500. The K-12 lift will provide impact study data driven analysis from recent assessments, results, and outcome. The program, out-of-school program, responds to students' needs and addresses the disproportionate impact of COVID on the student population and students experiencing homelessness and children and youth in foster care. The areas that will be targeted will be literacy, science, technology, engineering, math, STEM, and civics. Is there a motion to approve the intensive after-school impact study?
I move to approve the intensive after-school impact study.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Williamson. Any discussion?
And just exactly what is that?
What that is, because we've gotten so much, everybody's getting a lot of extra money, they want to know what effect is it having on your district. And so when we contract with them, they will come in and get some baseline data. Where are the students? And after we run all these programs through, they'll come back in and do a follow-up study to determine have a positive effect and look at any learning gains that we've had as we administer these programs. They want to know the positive effect of these programs.
Now, I did make a note, this could be anywhere from $7,000 to $19,000, or do we know the price now? Because that's the way I read
It depends on how many kids are involved.
Okay, so it's kind
And
of,
because it's after-school programs and weekend programs and summer school programs, we cannot make them mandatory.
right.
But that would be the maximum amount.
So they're looking at the return on investment based on after they have it with the K-12 lift data will provide that information of what their baseline was and where they are at the end of having
At the end.
interventions.
They wanted to know, are we being a good stewards of their money, or are we just using
Right.
it?
Right.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson, seconded by Ms. Williamson. Is there any further discussion? If there's none, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of 5.1, the intensive after-school impact study. 5.2, the ECTAC agreement. This is an agreement, the Board of Seminole County, Florida, the East Coast Technical Assistance Center provides technical assistance to Title I and other specified elementary and secondary education. It's an agreement that will terminate June the 30th, 2023. The amount for this is $2,200, and this is support to Title I and other ESSA programs. There is within a 30-day termination out clause that we could terminate the contract, or they could terminate it within 30 days, but this is technical assistance for Title I and other ESSA programs within the district. Are there any questions concerning that?
How will this support be given?
Okay, the support will be given through technical assistance, through data mining, through webinars, through PD.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other questions concerning the ECTAC agreement? If not, is there a motion to accept the agreement?
I'll make the motion to accept the ECTAC agreement.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Is there any further discussion? If there is none, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for the ECTAC agreement. Okay, 5.3 is the 5-year work plan within the district. The 5-year work plan.
Ms. Rayneck is going to answer any questions in reference to that. Mr. Ginn is not here. But as this past year, a lot of questions have come up about the 5-year work plan. We just needed to rather put it on consent agenda. I wanted us to have time to have open discussion if you so choose.
One thing that, I think we've benefited greatly from is all the air conditioners, as many as we've replaced, that has been replacing the chillers, because those are major purchases that if we had to make a chiller purchase, we would be in big trouble. And so that is something good that's coming out of the ESSER money that we've used is capital improvements of our heating and air.
The 5-year work plan is basically designed to project how you're going to be spending that 1.5 mils that you get for capital outlay every year in your trim budget. So it's around $1.4 million that you're going to get in trim money for capital outlays. So what they're saying to us is for 5 years down, based on the number of students you have in, based on the amount of facilities you have, based on the square footage and everything, what do you think you need to do over the next 5 years, and what's it going to cost? Where's this money going to go? So it's kind of an analysis of that money. It's kind of a running total of the money over the 5 years, and every year they drop 1 year off and they add another year. So it's an ongoing process every single year. Kind of like your strategic plan, where you just have a 5-year plan and then every year you revisit it and update it. That's what this facility plan is on.
Is the fish report a different thing?
The fish reports are part of the reports that are linked to this plan. That's the Florida Inventory of Schoolhouses. That's what FISH stands for. And that report drives, the information from that report drives the data that we have to put in the finances we have to put into this 5-year plan to say, okay, for example, Pinetta might have 12 classrooms that hold up to 20 students each. All that information feeds into the plan, and then we have to project what things and expenses are going to come from Pinetta for that site for each individual year for a 5-year period.
When does things get added to the fish report or taken off or?
The report is due in October every year. We do have some flexibility with getting it in, but to be right on deadline, it's the end of October that it's due. So we start working on it mid-September. We start looking at it. Mr. Ginn goes through all of the facilities. He notes if there's been any substantial updates. We collect the school data information for enrollment to see where we are, how many kids we've got in these classrooms, and how many of the classrooms are being used for classrooms, how many for offices, that kind of thing. Then we gather that information and develop a report from that. It's due October every year. But when we do it this year, it's a 5-year plan, and then next year it'll be a new 5-year plan, and the years will keep cascading up and down.
But Mr. Carroll, to answer your question, the fish report is an inventory of what we have, the facilities that we have, and then what you want to do in the facility goes in your 5-year plan.
Right.
That's how they're connected.
The fish report's a wish list, right?
No, the fish report is an inventory of what you have.
I wish we could fix this.
Okay, no.
It's a list of all that. It's a list. You can wish to fish, but it's a list.
I know. Yeah, I know. I got you.
So I would see the biggest things that we have on this right now is our HVAC and our buses.
This plan is more dedicated to some of the things that need to be done on a regular basis.
Right, I mean, for what we may, some of the biggest expenses we have coming toward would be our HVACs and our buses, rather than just the day-to-day repairs within the school.
Right. Things like we had to now do some painting and some other things in the gym that we didn't expect.
One of the other, just based on the age of all these buildings, they're all approaching 22, 23 years, is replacing carpets and tiles, and because many of them were opened in the early 2000s, and so you're getting at the time where we've had about 22 years of use in the schools, and some of them are starting to show wear and tear, some of the schools with the carpet and with mildew and mold at times due to humidity, and so those are other things that could be possible expenditures in the future, which I do think that y'all have started replacing some of the flooring we have at Pinetta, I think, and some other schools we've replaced some.
Replaced some in Lee.
What is PICO funds?
PICO funds are capital outlay funds that come from the state. And that's they're part of your capital outlay that you get in your taxes, but they could also be other funds like the school hardening grant. That's part of the PICO funds. It's things that the state legislature sets aside and says this is allowable dollars for you to use for capital outlay. This plan incorporates some of the PICO funds.
Okay, are there any other questions concerning the 5-year work plan? Okay, if there's no other questions, is there a motion to approve the 5-year work plan?
I move to approve the 5-year work plan.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
Second it.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, show a hand of the 5-year work plan. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. Okay, 5.4, thank you, Ms. Rainick, is field trips. Our first field trip is the Madison County High School. The Madison County High School High Tech Club on November the 14th, 2022, will be traveling to River Oak Technical College in Live Oak, Florida, and also to Publix Supermarket. There will be 17 students and 2 chaperones. Jody Price will be the chaperone. It's funded through the High School High Tech Fund. So again, that's 17 students, 2 chaperones to River Oak Technical College and to Publix Supermarket, November the 14th, 2022, 8:15 to 2:15. The other field trip through Madison County High School is the Madison County High School Robotics. We'll be attending Tallahassee, Florida on February the 4th, 2022 at the Al Lawson Multipurpose Center. 10 students will be attending, 1 chaperone. On November the 5th, 2022 in Gainesville, Florida at 3000 East University Avenue. The robotics group will be attending there. And those are the 2 robotic okay, on 2-4, excuse me, I've gotten, there's 3 of them. There's robotics are going 3 different places. On 2-4, they're going to Tallahassee, Florida. On 2-2, they're going to Gainesville, Florida to Abe Lincoln Middle School from 6 a.m. to 3 for competition. And then on 11-5, they're going to Gainesville for another robotics competition. So they're going to these robotic competitions where they build robotics and they compete with other students, other schools. So those are the two groups of field trips, the high school, high tech, and the robotics class. And that supervisor or that sponsor is Miss Bridget Goots, the robotics teacher there at the high school. Is there a motion to approve the field trips?
I'll make the motion to approve field trips.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gibson. Any discussion?
So they compete against other schools?
Yes, they do. They have a robotics class at the high school, and they've had it for a couple of years, and they went this past weekend, and it was really interesting and very enlightening to the kids. And hopefully one day we will be able to host competitions. But this is our first year of competing, and we got to find out how it works. And so next year we hope we...
It's like an Odyssey of the Mind type,
yes,
where they compete. Yeah, we appreciate Ms. Goots and all her hard work with this, because that is, a lot of kids do enjoy that, and it's a STEM activity, and we need to be exposing students to that and having the competition. So it's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson, seconded by Ms. Gibson. Any further discussion? Any other questions concerning the robotics?
I look forward to them hosting it here.
Okay, if not, all those in favor of the field trips, show a hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the field trips. Okay, 5.5 is staff travel. The ECTAC December meeting of family engagement in Orlando, Florida will be attended by Ms. Alveda Howard. The funding source is Title I Part A, and the cost is around $800. And it is December the 5th through the 8th, 2022.
Mr. Alford, can you change that date to December 6th through 8th?
Okay, December the 6th through 8th. Again, that's Ms. Howard going to Orlando, Florida, December the 6th through the 8th to the ECTAC December meeting family engagement program. The cost is around $800 and it's paid through Title I Part A. Is there a motion to approve the staff travel?
I move to approve the staff travel.
It's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Williamson. Any discussion? There is no discussion. All those in favor, show a hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. Okay, 5.6, Mr. Killingsworth, personnel changes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This evening we have 5 non-instructional positions that we're asking for your approval. 1 is in food service part-time at the central school. 3 are bus aid monitors within the district, and then 1 is a school secretary at Pine. We also have 2 sub-custodians that I ask your permission for us to have.
It was good to see we didn't have nobody resign.
Well, actually, I do. I just don't have their stuff in yet to bring it before you. So
You done busted the bubble.
speak slow when we do
God
that.
almighty, I felt good.
I actually have 2 coming before you next
week.
week. Sorry.
I shouldn't have asked that, man. I can't sleep at night.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the instructional recommendations for the non-instructional employee recommendations and the substitute teacher, food service, transportation recommendation? This is substitute custodian recommendations.
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the personnel changes.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gibson. Okay, any further discussion? If there's none, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the personnel changes. Thank you, Mr. Killingsworth.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, the next item is facility usage. Ms. Joseph has compiled some quotes and some information concerning our facilities and us renting them out and how we want to go about doing this. I'll let Ms. Joseph speak to. It's pretty self-sufficient what she has presented for us.
Okay. Looking back at our prior facility usage agreement, that's been in effect since the early 2000s. I think 2004 to be exact. And we know what has happened to the economy in these past few years. That means our cost is increasing whether we like it or not. Our school is for the uses of our students, but we understand we live in a rural community and we have to share. I believe in sharing, okay? But I also believe in making sure that we have things to support our students and have it right when they get there. When we let other people use it, they should help bear the burden, because there is a time coming that we will be strapped for cash. Okay? Times are not that dismal now, but times will be dismal within the next 2 years. I may not be here, but I do not wish upon this organization to be suffering because of some things, the way I've left the system. And so last time we talked about, I proposed some numbers and you kind of backed away from it. And I said, let me look at another way of doing this, because I didn't bring it with me, but I also took a survey of the very few facilities that surround Madison for people to use. Whatever we're doing is way tremendously under that. The amount I'm proposing is tremendously under that. But anything worth having is worth paying for, okay? You know, people, if you don't put something in, you don't value it. So you gotta make people value what they've got. I have proposed an hourly rate. That's what we had done before. And people, being honest with yourself, we cause a lot of people to be dishonest by doing an hourly rate. They say, I want to use it for an hour, but giving the keys the day before. As long as you have possession of the keys, that's part of your hours, but we want to charge them for that hour. So I want to help people be honest. So I'm preparing a flat rate, usage rate for the facilities. Okay? Rather than say, I just want to use this room. If you use that room, you want to go in the bathroom, so you're using someplace else. Okay, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, people. And so what the prices that I'm proposing, and again, this is up for discussion. If you notice on your paper, it says draft. It's not approved until you approve it. And so, does anybody have any questions so far? Comments?
I
Go ahead.
think the daily usage rate is a good idea. I mean, but again, I just want to make sure that what rate we have is covering our electricity, because, and I don't know that the general public even realizes what our electric bills cost at the schools, but just last month for the high school and central school was over $50,000. So that's a lot of money for 1 month. A lot of money. And again, if people are using those facilities, then we just need to make sure that last month for Central, it was $52,237.
No, that's not for Central.
Central in the high school.
Central's last month was $30,983.68. That's 1 month bill, people, okay? Not a year's bill. That was 1 month's bill. We are fortunate that the high school was renovated a couple of years back, so it's really energy efficient, and the high school doesn't cost that much, but the high school have a whole lot of little pieces.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a few minutes to explore this and look over and see. I don't know whether you have any questions on this or not, because it's just a copy of their tri-county bill.
And again, back, this was several years ago. Ms. Hagan was on the board when we did energy conservation, and I would recommend us going back and doing that again. Even if like at each school site, people were made aware of what the bill was, where at least they could be cognizant to turn off lights. I know myself at work, if you go out a room, I mean, if you get in the habit of turning out the lights when you're not in there, that is saving money throughout the day. And Central and the high school are big places that if whole wings started doing that when they're on wheel when they're not in the classroom, then that would save just so the faculty and staff have an idea of what we're talking about. This is a lot of money. I mean, this makes people think, oh, you're talking about the year. No, we're talking about a month. That is 600, this 52,000 is 625,000 a year. That's over $500,000 just on electricity that we pay to Tri-County. So again, that's not including all of our electric bills. That is just a snapshot of the high school where you have so many things going on there with extracurricular, baseball, softball, football, all those lights, when they come on, it's a price. The entrance sign, the field house, the weight room, the hog farm, the greenhouse, there's bills for all these different, and again, we want to do all this, but I think that people need to understand what it's costing to do it, because at some point we do need to be cognizant and try to save electricity and try to save money on this. This would be an area where the district could save, and you know what, the kids I think would like doing it into some type of activity where they're trying to compete with maybe themselves of, can we make it lower? You could do a whole math lesson or science lesson in energy conservation and just trying to make it lower. But again, I think we need to try to ask for the help of our faculty and staff, because there's nothing as a board that we can do sitting here about this. We could say all day that, oh, we need to cut it, but the people who are in the school are the people who are going to cut it. And for the people who was on the board back when Ms. Floyd was the energy conservation person, we did have dramatic savings. I want to say probably around $100,000 that was saved, and $200,000 of what was saved in electric bills. So it is something that I think we need to look at. I'm not saying we need to go back in an agreement with that company, because I think we could do it within the district. And we have a holiday coming up, and in my opinion, back then, all mini refrigerators had to be shut off and cleaned out before you left out for the long holiday. For Christmas break, the 2 weeks there, for the Thanksgiving break, to save energy. Lights should be off, computers had to be off.
I remember, because I was in the classroom during that time, but I didn't realize that was through a company, though.
Yeah, we had a company initially come from Texas that provided, and Miss Floyd, I think, worked for the company. And she went off to trainings and she would go in to like spot check the schools to see that classes were doing what they should. But again, I think the teachers, if you made them aware of what this amount was, that they could take ownership and do a nice learning activity with their class to help bring them into trying to help us save money. Because again, if you were to save $100,000 or $200,000, that could go to raises. I mean, this money is coming from the general fund. Am I right, Ms. Rainick? And that's where raises come from.
Well, let me ask you a question. I don't know. There are empty classrooms at Central, aren't there? There was. I don't know if there are.
There's some classrooms not being used as classes. They've got things in them,
Oh,
so I can't tell you what they're doing with them.
Okay, because I thought, I'm not sure how it worked. Maybe Mr. Killingsworth, he knows more about it than I do. I don't know if you could, shut off some areas, or if they're not being.
You cannot shut off an
cannot do
area
that.
like that. You can shut off a wing.
Okay.
Okay, but all the wings have at least one classroom in them, so we can't just shut off a wing and not inadvertently affect some kids.
Where I think, this is just me talking, where I think we could save the most money is making sure that computers are off at the end of the day, and at the end of weekend, lights, computers, long weekend or long extended periods, your refrigerators are cleaned out. And if the thermostat is cut down, I know Mr. Killingsworth at the high school, it's on a main, unfortunately you just can't do down wings, and that's why when we're looking at this pricing of it, if someone wants to rent the cafeteria at the high school, then the whole unit is on. Am I right or wrong?
You're correct.
So that would be an added cost, that you're suddenly cooling the entire school for the cafeteria, or if someone wants to use the gym, you're cooling the entire school for the gym. So that's, but again, I don't know that we could do wings just based upon how it's set up, but I do think you could make a very vigilant effort with computers and lights, and when people are not in the room, lights are off. Any type of refrigerators. I don't know, when they're out on the weekend, are the thermostats cut down, or is it on a timer where they go off? I know at some schools, school I work at, the temperature goes up and it's hotter in the summer or colder in the winter when the weekend's there. So we are doing that now?
Yes, sir, for the areas that you can control that. Which is mainly the middle part of the Central and then the bulk of the high school. Actually, the high school has sensors that if there's no movement in a room for a period of time, those lights will go out in that room. Same in the hall.
That's only at the high school.
But again, computers, all of our classrooms, I would think, would have a lot of computers, or maybe they just have the laptops and those may be going off.
They usually plug those, they have to charge them.
They're wireless.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe not as many computers as we had back 10 or 20 years ago.
They don't stay plugged in full time, because when the kids use them during the day, they use them as wireless.
Yeah,
and they plug them up and get them charged at night.
But that, and again, where, like at the high school, where it could be looked at as like your other areas that are on the electric bill, that would have an increased amount of what could be done there, to just be cognizant of the amount, because again, this is directly money that could be used for something else that we're paying the Tri-County, and unfortunately I only see this going up based on
Nothing's coming down.
nothing appears to be coming down, and with winter coming, who knows what it could go up to. So that is something that I think we need to be cognizant of. And but again, I'm all for the prices. I just want to make sure that we're getting what we think the electric amount would be if you're renting a big area which would use a lot of electricity.
I'd like to thank Mr. Awful and all of y'all for the comments you've said. I think that's going to be a whole nother item we're going to need to take up, because it really needs to be addressed. Now, that's part of the rationale behind these prices that I have put. But one other part of this facility usage agreement, I need you to look on the very last page. This is something that was not in the prior usage agreement. I want to put in, because, and start from the bottom. Do all of y'all see what I'm talking about? One of the things, it says organizations making a donation, cash or in kind, of $2,000 or more to to the district per school year, not calendar year, may be eligible to have their fee waived. Okay, a lot of people like to say, I will waive the fee. But if they're using it, they're using it. You go to the grocery store, your fee is not waived. Okay, if someone give us something value of $2,000 or more, maybe we could consider waiving their fee. Another thing that we need to consider is that a refundable cleaning deposit of $200 will be collected prior to the rental of the facilities. A lot of people use the facilities, leave them dirty. We have to pay our staff to clean it up. Now, if you want to come and use, and so whether you want to vote on it tonight or wait later on, I've got two different scenarios for you. I have your hourly rate or your daily rate, or do you want to adjust some of these numbers that I have for you? And the people I have exempt from this, if you are a school organization, you do not have to pay this if you're doing it through the school. Now, just because you're a student does not make you a school organization. Okay? And yes, certain locations in the building, if you rent it, for example, if you rent the cafeteria, you will have to hire one of the cafeteria people to run the facility, the kitchen, because those people are certified back there. Anytime Dick and Harry, you do not want them go in that cafeteria and tearing up your material. And not just an employee, a cafeteria worker. You do not want me in that kitchen. Okay? And yes, they will be responsible for paying those persons the hourly rate. And looking at these figures, they are a lot cheaper than the other few places that rent around here.
I've done my homework. This is cheaper.
Okay.
Yes, I have done my homework with the schools. Okay, I thought it was mentioned before they would be paying the janitors.
Okay.
Now, this isn't a contract, this, that we're looking at here. This is not, it's not specific enough as far as I'm concerned, but in other words, for instance, after a basketball game, I've sat there while the crowd cleared, and it is unbelievable, the trash. It's unbelievable.
Now, if we have to clean it up, the $250 cleaning deposit, we'll keep it.
Well, we're gonna, so, okay, in other words,
No,
who
well, on
else is gonna clean
basketball,
it?
so, I mean, they hired somebody to do that.
Basketball
I don't
is
know
a
who that
school
is.
organization. That has nothing to do with basketball.
No, that's
No,
just an
she was talking about
example.
the gym after a
Yeah,
basketball
yeah.
game.
But in other words, someone's gonna have to clean it up.
But they pay somebody extra to that. That has to come out of the athletics, but they shouldn't, but they
And
do.
so, bottom line, I'm asking you, this facility usage with these numbers, and I'll work with Mr. Reeves to get the agreement, contract legally binding. Do we want to use a flat fee per hour, a rate per hour, or flat daily rate with the two addendums I have in the back, or do you want some other fee?
Well, you know, the charge, you know, and that's because it just happened, but to charge those folks that was out there $200 an hour on the football field, and all they used was the grass and the scoreboard. I mean, they didn't use no lights. They didn't use no lights. It's in the daytime. So that's extremely too much. Especially, there's 130 of our kids out there. Now that's just too much.
Okay, I'm giving you two scenarios, a daily rate or hourly rate.
I mean, a daily would be cheaper than an hourly.
Yeah, I know, that's too
Daily
much
would be
too.
cheaper than the hourly.
For that,
Cheaper than.
I mean, that's too much for that. Now, if they had the lights on and all that kind of stuff, that'd be a little different, but they didn't have no lights, just a scoreboard and that.
Do y'all want to vote on this tonight or want to bring it back? Okay, because it's either, because we have people right now, we're going to hold off renting it out till we come to an agreement.
I'm in favor of the daily rate, but I want to make sure the daily rate is going to cover all of, everything it needs to cover.
I don't know whether it'll cover everything, but I think it'll get us closer than what we were. We don't want to gorge anybody out, but we want to get a decent return, make sure it covers the expenses.
And when you say daily rate, that's going to be certain hours that
It's
they can
from
use it.
12 p.m., 12 a.m. at night to 12 p.m. the next night. No, 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. to 11:50, from 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m.
Unless there's students using it.
No, if students using it, they don't need to go through this.
Yeah.
Wait, if they're using it as a student in the school capacity, okay? Just say you're a student. That's one thing, but are you using it in the name of the school?
I'm talking about an organization that comes in.
Well,
You know, in
will
other
they be
words-
using it in the name of the school? Or
It's
an
an
outside
outside.
entity?
Yeah, outside.
If it's an outside entity, we expect some fee.
Right.
I don't care who is part of that
Well, no,
organization.
and what I'm saying, I'm just making a comment now, don't, you know.
Okay.
What I'm saying, if an outside organization uses it, they have to have specific hours when they can use it. In other words, if an organization says, we want to use it Tuesday night, well then, you know, in other words, they can't come Tuesday in the daytime and start setting up, or,
We give them a 24-hour break. When we say daily, most days enclose 24 hours, we'll give them 24 hours.
okay, well.
Okay? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
I think
If it makes
Skipson's
sense to
saying
you.
that they can't come into school on a Tuesday afternoon because the kids are still there.
They can't be around kids unless they've been fingerprinted and background checked. And we're not,
If you're talking about non-school activities, the only time you're going to allow them is when our kids aren't at school using school. to
That's what
begin
I'm
with.
saying, that's what I'm
So
saying.
they wouldn't have the option of renting the stuff during the day. But
Right,
using it during
because
the
they,
day.
you
Okay.
said from 12 at night until 12 the next night. In other words, an organization wants to rent it, so they're gonna pay. But they have to know when I can set up and when I can leave and
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's
Well,
all I was saying.
And you probably couldn't do like, midnight to midnight. I mean, we don't want people there
Yeah,
at
that's-
11:50
no,
at
they're
night.
not gonna camp
I
overnight.
think the thing is that I wouldn't, you've got it listed as a daily rate.
Yes.
I think what you mean is though, that's the rate, if we're only gonna have it open for 4 hours, then at some point you can pay for instance, the 400 and get the whole 4 hours. You
Yes.
don't, instead of adding up all those hours, right? Because I'm sure we would put times, we're not gonna let, you'd probably say from, I don't know, 2 in the afternoon till 8 at night or something.
Yes.
You're not gonna have people there after hours.
Okay, do we want to vote on it tonight? I mean, I feel comfortable with the daily rate.
I
I
feel
like the daily rate better than the.
Mr. Carroll, what do you?
I feel all right with the daily rate, but not at that, not for that football field during the daytime, I don't. Or the baseball field during the daytime.
okay.
The rate is daily $500.
The rates for the high school, the kitchen and dining in the kitchen is $500 a day. Football field is $500 a day, baseball field $500 a day, gym $500 a day. Okay, the central school also $500 a day. Okay, Greenville, that's going to $400 a day. If they want Greenville's gym, that's $300 a day. And Pinetta Gym is basically $400 a day. Elite is $400 per day. Greenville is, they want, the kitchen is $400 a day. If it's a gym, it's $300 per day.
Do we need to differentiate between the baseball field and the football field if they use only the field and not the lights and any
Are they going in the bathroom?
Excuse me?
Well, aren't they going in the bathroom?
Yeah, but not that many.
But it don't burn no $500.
Because I know it's very expensive to turn on those lights on the football field.
I don't know how much the rec, I didn't, that's one place I didn't check,
The what now?
the rec park.
You got a hand.
Yes. Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The prices you're saying, Ms. Joe, is outstanding. I have a business, 2,900 square feet. Someone in my building is $400, $200 to clean up. And you gotta look at the square feet. I understand you're saying the facilities, but you're bringing so many people out there. You gotta pay for insurance. If they don't have insurance, something happen. You gotta look at the square feet as being in business. That's what's important. I understand you saying.
They have to have their own insurance.
But to rent stuff in Madison County, you go around the lake, I think it's like $900 with a big deposit. You go to the mansion up here, it's like $2,000. It's like almost $2,000. At the Manor place, at my place, it's $400, and I just be kind to people because of the time. So you got to think about that. I understand you're saying just the field, but it's the square feet. You're looking at the square feet, and you're giving somebody a elite place to do this, and they don't have it right. I understand that, but it's the cover what we're trying to build. I know it sounds harsh, it sounds like it's a lot, but in the business aspect, with the $30,000 you just said, that's nothing for people to do in this town. It's a low ball, and all you're doing is playing yourself. To use the facility, the gym, the cafeteria, that can seat how many people? 300 people? 400 people? So that's what you got to look at as that aspect, at that as a business thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually checked on some other school districts, and they're up to $700 and some. I mean, like you mentioned in another meeting, with the school district, the taxpayers paid $15 million to overhaul the high school. All of our schools are in good shape. You know, and it costs, and the rising cost of everything and the cost to maintain it, it's.
Again, I think where the issue may be is like when the lights come on, because in looking at this bill for September through October, it was $715, and the baseball and softball lights. I mean, that's a lot of money. For a season where that's not even in season.
Wear and tear on the field, okay?
So at this time, the future board, if they were to see that it needs to be relooked at, we could, but I do think we need to put something in place because the holidays are coming and you don't know who's going to be asking to rent the facility. So is there a motion to approve the current daily rates, the proposed daily rates at the school sites for facility usage?
I move to approve these current daily rates at the schools for usage from the public.
None of it's been approved. Do y'all want to approve the whole thing or just the daily?
Just
it's
the
gonna
daily.
either hourly or daily.
Oh, they're not gonna have the option of doing hourly?
No,
It's just
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's just the daily.
Sorry, I interrupted.
So Ms. Gibson, your motion is to approve the daily rates for the facilities?
The daily rates.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Williamson. Any discussion?
I guess I look at things wrong. And I know it's a whole lot different in my heart now. This is me. In my heart, it's a whole lot different than somebody coming out there to have a family reunion or whatever, if they wanted to do that, than it is when we got 130 something or 100 or 25 or 50 of our kids that's going to our school, going out there because they play in an organization that's not affiliated with the school, have to pay that much. Now, I'm not saying they should use it for nothing. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that, they're not making any money out there to do it. They're not using any electricity. They are wear and tear on the field, but the district don't pay for nothing on that anyway.
Excuse me?
Athletics does. But, so, I mean, that's just, you know, I have a hard time charging them that much, because if they done it and they had 3 games, that's $1,500 that they have to come up with some kind of way, you know. So anyway, I look at things different than most folks, and you know, we gonna charge the gym $500 a day, and you got to use the air conditioner or the heater in there, and you got to use the lights in there, got to. When outside, you don't have to. It's not cut and dry that you're gonna use them, the lights out there. So I mean, and then that's the way I look at it. So anyway.
And if you could look at it this way, most of the people that are using it are taxpayers. They're from here. In other words, it'd probably be very rare to find a stranger coming in to rent it. So in other words, you say it's our kids. Well, it's going to be all of us. This is the people in Madison County that are using these.
That's what I'm saying. I don't look at it like that.
Yeah.
when I see our kids, and you know, that's what I see. I don't see.
Okay, is there any more discussion concerning that? Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson, seconded by Ms. Williamson. All those in favor, show of hand, please. Opposed? 3-2, Ms. Bishop, for approval. Okay, 5.8. 5.8 is,
I'll get that to you real,
the 5.8 is the redistricting proposal, redistricting services for the Board of County Commission and the School Board. Kurt Spicer and Associates. There's an executive summary. There's specific experience and references he's included. And Mr. Reeves can speak to this. This is redistricting through the County Commission and the School Board, where boundaries are for voting, I guess, not attendance, but voting.
Not attendance. So we just had of course, we just had a census in 2020. The government is required, after each census, you're required to go in, and county commissions are required to look at and see if they need to change the districts of the Board of County Commissioner districts. The school board is required to look at and see if you need to change the districts for the school board member districts. Now, the county and the school board are not required to have the same districts. We, in Madison County and most smaller counties, have chosen to do that because it's cheaper, because then you can just get one study and figure it out one time. So for instance, the school board member from District 1 and the county commissioner from District 1 have the exact same district. Now, both the county commission and the school board last redistricted in the 80s. And we're supposed to do it every 10 years, but that's the last time we did it. There was a big civil rights lawsuit on that, and it was settled in the court. And I think once it got settled, everybody was like, we don't want to think about it again. Now, I don't know that that was necessarily got us all that out of whack, because this is Madison. We hadn't had tremendous growth. It's not like an Orange County or something where every 10 years everything's so far out of whack, you know. So anyway, but we do need to go ahead and do this, and we need to look at it. So what Mr. Spitzer is he's a consultant that will come in, and there's a couple of things that have to happen for this. So he has access to the information that the census has. The census, he then takes our existing county commissioner and school board member districts. He takes the census data, plugs it in to see if those districts are still in about the same number of people. And so what the U.S. Supreme Court has said is that if your highest district and your lowest district are within 10%, they think that's good enough. So now, and I don't know where we started, see, in the 80s. Were we 9% difference in the 80s, and now just a few people knock us out? I don't know the answer to that. But he'll do that for us. Now, if you look at his price on here, and so obviously, if let's say you've got some districts that are out of whack, well, what you're going to have to do is you have to have someone that has all this computer equipment and modeling that can say, well, if we move this line a little bit over here and that line over there, you can have districts that are about right. And what he do is if he finds the districts are out of whack, he brings that back, makes suggestions and says, hey, you know, this is a plan that might get you there. Also, here's another plan that might get you there. You know, those types of things that y'all would have to look at. Hopefully, they're not too out of whack. Hopefully, it would be just moving a few lines, but you don't know that. So the total fee is what he's anticipating is $32,000. That's given as a fixed price. Now, if crazy things happen and all that, he's got an hourly rate there. The first part of it is $14,000. So let's say that he does the study and nothing else needs to be done. It's all great, and y'all can just say, okay, we've looked at it, we don't need to change anything. Well, then that would stop. The $14,000 would be all you charge. If he has to come back, then it goes to the $32,000. Now, you all, and as I said, y'all aren't, the county commission and the school board are not required to do this the same way. Like in Orange County, for instance, the school board member districts and the county commissioner member districts are totally different. It's not the same at all. But you would have, but by doing it, by keeping it together, the county commission and the school board can split that fee, right? So instead of paying $32,000, now you're each paying $16,000. We talked about this last year, but remember, we've got to do it on an odd numbered year. And so when we talked about it in 2021, by the time we were getting into it, we didn't think we'd have enough time to do everything before 2022. And so now we're back here, we're at the end of 2022, we're going to do it in 2021 if y'all agree to. So the way I found Mr. Spitzer, because he had done this same service for Columbia County, and I know the county attorney in Columbia County very well. He also did this service in Jefferson County, and of course I'm the school board attorney in Jefferson County. So I did not work with him directly in Jefferson County, but I know the people over there were very happy with his services, and I know the ones in Columbia County were very happy for his services. So the county commission has already approved this, subject to the school board's approval. So if you all would like to approve it, you can approve it, and I'll call Mr. Spitzer, and we'll get him working. You don't have to approve it this second if y'all want to think about it or whatever. But I do think it's a good, we need to do it.
Something we have to do.
It's something we have to do. You've at least got to have a professional come in and look at it. And remember, when you're apportioning, it's based on population. It's not based on registered voters. It's based on population. And so, because the folks in that district can register to vote or not, that's up to them. So it's not registered voters, it's on population. And that's what he's going to come in, and that'll be the first thing that I'm interested to see, is exactly what those numbers have worked out over time.
One of our districts has really grown in population.
Yeah.
And another one's kind of.
And we'll just see. And now this doesn't have anything to do with attendance zones. It's got nothing to do with that. That's all totally different. Because remember, attendance zones are going to tend to be based on your school-age children in that zone and all, whereas this is based on population.
No, I think it's a good idea, and I think we probably should enter in this agreement with them.
Redone the lines since they did it in probably 84.
Yeah.
In 84 is when they went to single-member district voting instead of countywide, and they redrew all the lines to make them all equal.
That was all part of it. That was all part of it. Because remember, it used to be that you had your attendance area, but you ran countywide. And then they went to what we have now, which are called single-member districts. So you run just within your district.
And when they made it single-member district, they wanted all the districts to be fairly the same.
That's right.
Size and stuff and everything, because when you ran countywide, it didn't quite
matter quite so much. Yeah. And so anyway, that's and like I said, hopefully it's not out of whack at all, or hopefully if it is, it's just a small percentage and it can be fixed easily. And
I hope so, because the district that's wrong really is on one side of the county, and the one that has gone down is on the other side of the county, which is, if it's enough, would be a shift around, but maybe not enough.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the agreement with Kurt Spitzer and Associates?
I move to approve the redistricting proposal.
Okay, in the agreement. Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any discussion? All those in favor of the proposal with Kurt Spitzer and Associates, show a hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. Okay, next item, 5.9, purchases in excess of $10,000. The first one we have is the Madison County Solid Waste disposal for all schools at $4,400 for a total of $22,000. The second one we have is an engineered cooling services out of Pensacola, Florida. It's a blanket for 3-quarter inspections for a total of $50,272.50.
Mr., these have been approved. It's just that from a policy that we approved last time, I'm supposed to bring things to you and inform you about them.
Okay. So do we need to vote on this, Mr. Reeves?
I would, as long as,
Okay.
as long as you're here, it doesn't hurt
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
But they've already approved them one time.
Okay.
Okay, is there a motion to approve these purchases in excess of $10,000?
I'll make the motion to approve the purchases.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gibson. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor, show a hand. Okay, 5.10, the instructional salary schedule. Ms. Raynick is making her way up. I like to say that we're... Well, no, it's a maze to get up here. I'm happy to say that we're up to $40,925, so almost $41,000 for base, so that is
That was good. That's good. That was good. As we had discussions in our executive session last week, we went back to the negotiating table on the 2nd, and when we met with them, we had a lot of things to consider. We had to talk first about the TSIA, the teacher salary increase allocation, and that had already been approved by the department, and they were very happy with what we had settled on in that area. So there was no contention with the negotiating party on that. We were all in agreement. We did talk about, like in the session, we talked about their offers of having, paying people that, remember we had to go to $15 minimum. So there's a lot of people that went from $10 to $15 and are getting very large raises. And the union proposed that what we should do for the people who were at 15 and above who didn't get anything, to try and look at bands of payment, like if you made this much money in your steps last year, average, you would get this much money. We looked at all those numbers. We looked at paying people 2 cents an hour for every year of service. We had a lot of difficulty determining what year of service meant, because in Skyward, year of service is where you're placed. It may or may not have anything to do with your year of service. Your hire date never changes, so you could have hired in the 90s, then left, and then come back in 2020. So your hire date wasn't going to generate where we thought we needed to be with years of service with the district. So what we did instead was we proposed to the union that anybody that was here already and was making $15 and did not get a raise because of the $15 an hour minimum, that we give them a 2% cost of living raise. So no matter who it is on the bottom, if they didn't get a raise, they would get a 2% cost of living raise. And the union did like that proposal. They did agree to it. The only exception to that was there were a couple people that got a raise to $15, but they might have already been making $14.94. So they only got a raise of like 6 cents an hour. So those people, if they made less than what a 2% cost of living raise was, we proposed that those people would get the cost of living raise.
Oh, that's good.
So we think that's fair. That's fair. So the union thought it was fair. So the proposal that we have was that we do that. Then we talked about performance pay. And performance pay, we did settle that if you had an effective evaluation, you would get $240. If you had a highly performing highly effective evaluation, you will get $360. If you were on the grandfathered schedule, you can't get performance pay. So we agreed that the people on the grandfathered schedule would get the same as an effective evaluation, even though it's not performance pay for them. So the union, the IBB, was receptive to that proposal as well. So what you have before you is the salary schedule. And what that is doing is lining up where the incoming salary is going to be, which is now $40,925 per incoming teacher, and then it goes up. Remember, there's no steps, and people advance on that schedule. It's not really a step schedule, it's a placement schedule. So if you came in with 10 years of creditable service, you would step in on what could have been called a step, but it's really like level 10. Once you get on a step, you don't go down to the next step and keep growing every year. What you do is you go sideways. And you stay at that step, but you have these additions that keep happening to your pay. So your pay continues to rise, but it's going sideways, it's not going down. So that schedule you have before you sums up how it looks for each of those levels that people would be placed in with the new salary that was approved by the TSIA. Teacher salary increase allocation. I know you don't like a lot of acronyms, but so I ask, are there any questions? Just out of curiosity, the grandfathered people could choose to do performance pay, right?
They can choose to do that.
That's what I would.
But they have to give up their professional contract if they do.
Okay, they have to give up that, yeah.
So if they chose to do that and say, I think I'm exceptional and I'm going to get a highly effective, I'd rather have $360. In order to get the $360, they have to give up their contract.
And they can't
And
go
that's
back.
non-revocable, they can't get it back.
But they would otherwise get the $240.
Yeah, that's what, we negotiated that separately. That's not really performance pay, but we said, to be fair, we wanted to make sure that you got an equal thing. And by the way, if you look at all of the totals of the TSIA, the performance, the 2%, the huge raises in $15 an hour, you will see that very, very few people got less than what they would have gotten last year in raises. The only people that might have gotten a hair less would be those people that did not have an effective or highly effective evaluation. But beginning teachers got as much as, without an evaluation, got as much as $1,158 each from the day they started till today, and this will be retroactive till July. Is that good? That's good. We want happy teachers. We want happy teachers, because happy teachers make good students, right? So we want that.
Okay, are there any questions for Ms. Raynaud? If there's none, is there a motion to accept the instructional salary schedule?
I'll make the motion to accept the instructional salary schedule.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Carroll. Any discussion?
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's none, all those in favor? 5-0, Ms. Bishop for approval. I want to thank Ms. Raynaud for all her work on this, all her work on just trying to make sure the money is there, and such a monumental task, and I appreciate all you've done.
Thank you.
It really has been nice to have you working and helping us out and trying to explain it to us. You do a great job doing that with the trim and with the millage, and she's done a great job with that, so I appreciate that as being a board member.
Thank you, but understand it's a team effort. We all do it.
It is, but I appreciate all you've done.
Thank you.
Okay, 5.11 is a memorandum of understanding with North Florida College. The effective date is 11/1/2022 until 12/31/2022. North Florida has agreed for Madison County High School's use of the basketball court at NFC for practice during normal operating hours of Colin P. Kelly Fitness and Wellness Center. Madison County High School coach will have communication with that director of the fitness center concern and everything going on there, but this is due to the renovations at the high school, Central School, and us having so many sports, playing basketball, so many different levels playing, that we need the extra facility to practice in. And that North Florida has been gracious enough to allow us to use their court. Is there a motion to approve it?
I move to approve the NFCC memorandum.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll for NFC, the use of their court. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gibson. Any discussion? If there's none, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the memorandum of understanding with North Florida College. Okay, 5.2, Ms. Joseph just received this prior to us coming in the meeting, is a request from Tri-County. It's a broadband support through Tri-County. It's the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity Broadband Opportunity Grant application, and they're asking for us to write a letter of recommendation and reference for the support of broadband. And that's really important with us with our students and them online at home. And back during the COVID, we had such an issue with not having students having the broadband and having the ability to get online. So it is something that is worthwhile to the district. And I think Ms. Joseph has constructed a letter.
Yes, everyone has a copy of it at their location.
So is there a motion to approve the letter for her writing?
I move to approve the support letter for Tri-County Electric Cooperative.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Williamson. Any discussion? Okay, if there's no discussion, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the broadband support through Tri-County through the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity Broadband Opportunity Grant application. 5-0 in favor. Okay, that includes all of the items of individual consideration. Is there any superintendent items?
Yes, there's superintendent items. Okay, one thing I would like to say, I've got 2 board members that's gonna be here next time. And I have one in the audience, and I just need to say that on December 14th, we will have a local board meeting workshop from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and I'll send out the information, but I wanna make sure it's on your calendar, because we're gonna have a treat you don't wanna miss. And you are registered for the state meeting in Tampa. Ms. Bishop has the hotel room in the host hotel, so all that's in place and everybody's registered. But I can't be as eloquent as Ms. Hubbard, but I can do me. Okay. There's a song by James Freeman. That's where she get it from. It says, "Give me my flowers while I yet live, so that I can see the beauty that they bring. Speak words to me while I can hear them, for that I can hear the comfort that they bring." Okay. At this time, I would like to thank Ms. Loretta Bell for her service. Ms. Bell served us from 2018 through 2022. Thank you, Ms. Bell.
Thank you.
Okay. Next person I would like to recognize is Ms. Susie Williamson. She served us from 2002 to 2010. Ms. Wilson took a sabbatical. Okay, but we're so glad she decided to grace us with her expertise again. She began service from 2014 to 2002. During her tenure with us, Ms. Wilson served as chair from 2005, 2006, and 2017, 2018. Thank you, Ms. Williamson.
Thank you.
Okay, I have something else for you also. Ms. Hubbard will have to get that to you over here.
Thank you.
And for a gentleman, Mark Alford. He has served us continuously from 2002 through 2022. Ms. Alford has served as chair the 2004-05 school year. It's not necessarily school year because we are regular organization from November through November. So he was 2004-05, 2009-10, 2012-13, 2016-17, 2020-21, 2021-22. Did I get them all?
So I got 6 years.
What I would like to say, being in this position, I've never been a board member, but as a superintendent, I'll tell you people, this is a different world. Saying of being a board member and being a board member are two different things. That's one of the things that say, you're looking from the outside looking in once you get in, because being a board member is that you have to be responsible for the entire system. We have to be a system there. Okay, you have to put your personal prejudice aside and say, what is best for the system? We are Madison County School District, and I applaud all the work that all of you have done. Thank you.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
I'll maintain those capital colors. Okay, and also, the staff in the district office is helping remind you that we are overworked, but we are tenacious in doing our job. We believe in doing our best, and we'll do what we can. And I thank you for respecting the employees of this district.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Okay, at this time, we will go individual. Do you have anything, Mr. Rivers? No? Okay, Ms. Williamson?
I don't want to say too much, I'll cry. But it's been a pleasure
You
to
have to
serve.
stand up, we can't see you now.
You did that. But it's been a pleasure to serve the school district and to work with such fine people through the years. Hard-working, dedicated people, dedicated to our children. And I thank you. And I appreciate all the friends that I have made and the people that I have met that have inspired me. Old friends and new friends. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Carroll?
Before I thank Ms. Williams and Ms. Bell, I had a couple parents call about, is there a nurse in the Greenville school? Do we have a nurse at the Greenville school?
It's not full-time, but we do have a nurse. But we have medical assistants there full-time. We do not have a nurse there full-time.
Okay. I've had some parents call me about that, so I was...
Okay, ask them to call down here and I'll discuss it with them, and then I'll discuss it with the nurse.
I'll sure
okay?
tell. Sure will. All right, but anyway, I want to thank Ms. Williamson and Ms. Bell and Mr. Alford for all their service. Believe me, I know firsthand it's a tough job, and y'all have done a great job. And I just appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gibson?
Yes, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the three of you also. Ms. Williamson's been on the board, like Ms. Joseph said, for 16 years, serving faithfully. I've learned a lot from you just by being on the board with you, and I appreciate all that you've had, all your wisdom. Ms. Bell, I've appreciated getting to know you these past 4 years, and we work well together, and we will miss you also. And Mr. Alfred, same to you. I knew you actually when I was a teacher in the classroom, and I see you in the schools, and I know how involved you are with the schools, and I appreciate all of your wisdom that you have, let's say, what you contributed, and you will be missed. All three of you will be missed. Thank you so much. Oh, and then let me thank Pinetta Elementary for their outstanding performance. Thank Ms. Davis and her staff, and all the parents who actually brought the children here tonight. We thank you and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gibson. Ms. Bell?
I want to thank the young lady that came up and came up with the ideal of giving children that don't have shoes or, opening it up that she could take in donations and money to help underprivileged children, things that we take for granted. I'll just say that. And I want to also say that Pinetta Elementary School, I look in the mirror all the time and reflect on what needs to be done for myself, what needs to be fixed in myself. So it was wonderful to see them. They did an outstanding job, and I was very proud of them. I would also like to thank God, because without him, I'm nothing. I just got to say that, because he's above and beyond all things for me.
Amen.
And for allowing me to be a part of the educational process. I also want to thank the teachers and all the staff and the employees. Y'all doing an awesome job. It's hard work, but you keep going. You keep putting one foot in front of the other for our students, and that's what it's all about, our children. I also want to congratulate Ms. Vieta, and I wish you the best.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bell, thank you. I too want to thank Ms. Yolanda Davis for her bringing the students here tonight. It was a very special night to end tonight for us. I appreciate her coming. A couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity of going to the band competition at Gene Cox Stadium, and the band did well, did really well. The band director's doing a great job at the high school, and we're really lucky to have him. They did a great job and really looked good on the field, so that was real exciting to watch and to see. And sadly, there weren't many bands participating, so we should be proud that our high school band still participates in that, because it was a handful of bands, and our is one of the smaller districts, us and Perry, that were there participating, so that's exciting. I too have something to say, and I have it written out so I can get through it. So let me begin. Okay, thank you. Being elected to the Madison County School Board 20 years ago marked one of the most incredible journeys of my professional career. The journey has marked periods of good times and challenging times. It's been an honor to serve. I want to thank the people of District 5 who made this possible. I also would like to thank all the employees for their dedication and hard work. Over the past 20 years, I've been honored to serve with 5 superintendents, 10 board members, and I've served as chairman for 6 years. The memories are many. I want to thank all our current employees and all they do for the students in the county. Each employee is appreciated, and without you, we would be unable to function, so thank you. I want to thank Mr. Reeves for all he and his firm has done for the district over the past 20 years. I want to thank the district leadership team for their commitment and guidance in helping to move the students to proficiency and beyond. I want to thank Ms. Becky Horn, Ms. Jane Dickey, and Ms. Becky Bishop for all their help and support over the years. I served the longest with Ms. Dickey and Ms. Bishop and appreciated all they have done. I appreciate all the board members that I have ever served with for their dedication to serving our county students. I wish the currently seated board members the best. It has been a pleasure to serve on the board with you. To the newly elected school board members, I wish you the best and hope all your decisions center on what is best for the students and the school district. Words cannot express my gratitude for the Florida School Board Association. They have provided our board with training and guidance through the years. In 2019, when our district had financial hardship and a transition of leadership, Andrea Messina and Tina Pinkinson with the Florida School Board Association guided every step of the complicated process. I will forever be grateful to them and their crucial leadership during that critical time for our district. I would be remiss if I didn't pay a compliment to our board chair at the time, Ms. Carol Gibson. I cannot say what a difficult time we were in. And how you handled it with professionalism, grace, and courage. Okay, let me pull this together. Okay.
You're doing good.
Through the years, I've worked with many great leaders who have contributed to the success of the Madison County School District and to who I am today, I want to mention some of the leaders who have impacted me over the past 20 years. The first one, I have to say, this person hired me. It was Stuart Finneman. The next, Lucille Day, Julia Waldrop, Ramona Guest, Brian, Larry Alderman. Okay, just a second. Larry Alderman, Gwen Hubbard, Jan McCard, Randall Buchanan, George Pritchett, Jimmy Taylor, Frank Galbraith, and Andrew Barnes, our former finance director. Okay, and the superintendents, Bill Roberts, who was my first superintendent. He was an honorable person. Lou Miller and Doug Brown. Okay, lastly, I've got to get through Miss Joseph. I'll be finished. Jesus. This is like torture. This is torture. Okay, I'm going to get through. Lastly, Miss Joseph. Miss Joseph accepted our appointment as superintendent. I appreciate her willingness to serve and the leadership she has brought to the district at that critical time in our history. She has navigated financial issues, a pandemic, and the uncertainty that comes with a pandemic. While serving as board chairman for 2 straight years, I've got to know Ms. Joseph. And view her as a friend and appreciate her directness and all she has done for the district. I've learned so much from these great leaders who have guided the Madison County School District. Okay, as this chapter of my life ends, I'm truly thankful I've had the opportunity to spend the last years here representing the citizens of District 5. Again, serving on the board has been such an honor. People have asked me, what am I going to do? Well, I'm excited to say I recently opened a private practice speech therapy practice here in Madison. It's called the Speech Language Center. Who really knows what the future holds and how our paths may cross again? With that being said, always the best to each of you, and may God continue to bless the Madison County School District and our students. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I made a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Bell, seconded by Ms. Gibson. All those in favor, show of hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop.